as kind of a adjunct media to these cowboy movies that were being made. People think that comes out of Texas. It actually doesn't.
I'll just throw this out. To me, Hank Williams is like the Elvis of country music, or like he's like the touchstone songwriter.
I would
guy.
accept that. Yeah, I mean, because the songs are just extraordinary and they're simple and they're honest. You know, the early writers in Nashville that wrote songs that became big hits on the radio, and I guess, for lack of a better term, are commercial country writers. People like Harlan Howard, Eddie Arnold, those kinds of people.
If I'm not mistaken, Bono said, what's rock and roll is 3 chords and the truth. And to me, he ripped that off of Harlan Howard. Because he's the one who came up with what's country music, just 3 chords and the truth. Isn't that his?
He probably did. I used to go, when I first got to town, I'd go to these things. BMI, which is one of the performing rights organizations, would have this giant party that would be outdoors, and they called it Harlan Howard's Birthday Bash. And they would have a litany of, they probably put 30 songwriters on the stage over the course of 4 or 5 hours. And they'd have this giant party out in the parking lot. And I can recall that Harlan would sit in on most of it. And just really just a presence, you know a lot more about Hollywood than I do. I'm not a big movie buff.
I don't know anything about anything. I know nothing. I'm proud of it.
I do think it's interesting that when I think of Loretta Lynn these days, I think a lot about that movie. That movie is incredible. It's
Didn't Sissy Spacek win an Oscar for that?
Sissy Spacek. Yeah, I mean, it's an Oscar-winning performance. And I just thought that I thought it was so well done and so
and didn't what's her name, Reese Witherspoon, win an Oscar for playing June Carter?